Hello, class of 2024. Today, Cacie, Carlynne, Elise, Julia, and I have a presentation for you on Enneagram and leadership. For those who don't know, the Enneagram is a personality system. It deals with your core fear and desire, reactions to stress, behaviors and growth. So, in short, it's all about what's motivating you. So if you've ever reacted to something out of anger or something's hurt you more than you wanted it to or you expected it to, or if something's made you sad, or if you're simply acting in a certain way and you don't understand why you are, the Enneagram helps to get down to those root core motivators, the fears we might be avoiding or the desires we might be seeking to fulfill. The Enneagram has an explanation for your desires or your core fears in 9 different types, each type seeking something differently and fearing something differently. We will go through each type briefly. Because of the length of this presentation, we don't have time to go through them super in depth, but we encourage you to research and learn more about the different types. Now, if I'm encouraging you to research more about the different types, the next natural question is why? What is the use? And more importantly, why is this in a leadership presentation? What does a personality system have to do with leadership? The system is extremely useful for leaders in leading people. It helps in a few ways. One way is recognizing gifts. Often people are overlooked and they're missed when they are extremely valuable to a team. You have crises and conflicts that you could easily avoid if you had people who had the right strengths doing the right jobs, but often people miss strengths. It's also important for understanding conflict. We get into so many conflicts with people simply because we don't understand why they're doing something. They act a certain way and we take it personally because we don't understand why they're acting the way that they're acting. And not only does understanding people help to avoid unnecessary conflicts, but it helps to resolve conflicts that do occur. And finally, it's useful in meeting the needs of people. Every Enneagram type has different needs. Some are opposite from others. Some people need blunt communication. Other people will run away and hide at the sight of blunt communication. Some people need time to themselves. Some people need to be brought out of their shell. Everyone has different needs, and the Enneagram type can help to identify and meet people where they're at and meet their needs. This next slide might look a little strange because typically when we think about leading, we aren't thinking about leading ourselves. We're thinking about leading other people. But over the course of your 4 years here, you will hear the word servant leader so often, and servant leadership begins with yourself. If you aren't filled, you won't have anything to give. If you aren't taking care of yourself, if you aren't meeting your own needs, then you can't meet other people's needs. So the Enneagram helps us to understand how we need to take care of ourselves in times of stress, how we can work toward growth, and in general having a lot of self-awareness to know how to lead ourselves so that we can lead others.
Hi, my name is Carlynne Folkstad, and I am a Type 1. Type 1 is the reformer. Throughout the next couple slides, I will be giving you an insight to what they do great as a leader and what to watch out for. Type 1, the reformer. The reformer has a sense of mission to lead and help others. They are wise, noble, and realistic, and they are well organized. They always have a sense of mission that leads them to want to improve the world in various ways, using whatever degree of influence they have. They strive to overcome adversity, particularly moral adversity, so that the human spirit can shine through to make a difference. They strive after higher values, even at the cost of a great personal sacrifice. This slide provides us some ways that we are able to excel in leadership and some ways that we may not be able to excel. When we excel, we are defending the rights of others. We bring awareness and attention to details. We have idealistic and optimistic worldviews. We are very deeply motivated by personal values. and we have the ability to connect to and care for our community. Some things to watch out for in leadership. We have tendencies to be a perfectionist. We have the difficulty time accepting hard realities. We are highly critical of ourselves and others, and we can become obsessive or self-righteous.
Hello, my name is Juliet Johnson, and I am a Type 2. In the next few slides, I will be discussing the general characteristics of a Type 2, the ways 2s excel in leadership, and things to watch out for in leadership as a 2. I will begin by giving you a brief outline of the Enneagram Type 2. The Enneagram Type 2 is often called the helper. According to the Enneagram Institute in 2019, this type is characterized by a genuine desire to help others. You will recognize 2s because they will be going out of their way to be helpful, loving, compassionate, and useful to others. They are motivated by a desire to be loved, to express love to others, and to be needed, and for others to see them as valuable. And over on the right side of the slide, you can see this is just the basic outline of a 2. They want to know if they're lovable. They have this desire to be loved. As a leader, they're often compassionate. They give attention and appreciation. They see potential in others. They're great encouragers, and they're helpful. They want to be helpful because they want to deserve that love. At their best, they're empathetic, warm, friendly, selfless, generous, and loving. At their worst, they can be manipulative, people-pleasing, possessive, prideful. All in all, people are drawn to them. On this slide, I'm going to relate the Enneagram Type 2 to leadership. Even if you don't identify with the tendencies of a Type 2, pay attention because you will run into others in your career as leaders who are Type 2s. Type 2s will excel in the area of servant leadership. Their whole motivation for everything they do in their lives is to serve and love others. Therefore, they will likely do very well when implementing the servant type of leadership. 2s also tend to lead with humility. They love to serve others and see the best in others. 2s also lead with empathy and a caring attitude. I can attest to this as I am a 2. I tend to always try and see the best in people, and it's hard for me to imagine that people could have bad motives. This leads us to the ways 2s need to be careful in leadership. Because a 2's whole motivation for their actions is the approval of others, if they don't receive this approval and instead receive criticism, it can be detrimental. If you are a 2, be careful to listen objectively to criticism. Don't automatically think that they don't like you or appreciate you, but try and listen for the truth in what they're saying. If you are giving criticism to someone who you may believe is a Type 2, be very gentle and layer it with compliments. For example, I'm so thankful for how you helped me in this way. Next time, could you make sure to close the door afterward? Again, thank you so much for all you do. If 2s feel like they're not getting the recognition they strive for, they may become manipulative. If you are a 2, check yourself for this. Realize that your worth is not based in whatever activity you are striving to help or lead in. Do not force others to recognize you if they do not readily give it. If you know a 2 and you see they are not being recognized, go out of your way to compliment them. They will love you for it. A final thing 2s need to watch out for in leadership is burnout. 2s like to work themselves, to serve, to win approval, and to help, but this can mean that they will not take care of themselves. If you are a 2, learning to say no can be a really healthy thing. Learn to recognize when you are feeling tired, overworked, and try to reorganize your schedule accordingly. If you see a 2 in burnout, come beside them in order to help them. This little action can show that you care and that you value them.
Hi, this is Carlynne again. I'm going to be telling you about Type 3, the Achiever. Throughout the next slides, I'll be giving you an insight of what it is and how we can excel in leadership if we are a Type 3 and what to look out for. Type 3, the Achiever. We tend to seek accomplishments and admiration, and we are very straightforward with our communication. We also tend to achieve great things in the world. We are considered stars of human nature, and people often look up to us because of our graciousness and our personal accomplishments. We know how good it feels to develop ourselves and contribute to our abilities to improve the world. This slide is going to provide some ways that us as Type 3 people can excel in leadership and what to watch out for. So some ways that we can excel is we drive to accomplish and succeed. We are motivating and encouraging those around us. We have the ability to understand and connect with others. We are charismatic and confident, and we are efficient and practically thinking in the workplace. Some things to watch out for. We focus heavily on personal image. We have the difficulty of accepting failures from ourselves or others. We lose touch with our own or avoid our own feelings, and we can be perceived as insensitive or overly competitive.
Hello everyone, my name is Carrie Noel. I am an Enneagram 3 with a wing 4, which basically means I have a lot of 4 in myself. So I have chosen to present on the type 4 today. A really brief, quick overview of the 4, and as I said at the beginning, I encourage you to go and research this a little more in depth on your own, as I can't cover a whole lot here. But the Enneagram 4 core feeling is shame. Like the 2 and the 3, they deal with shame and worthlessness, and they try to make up for that by being special and unique. They want to feel valuable. They want to find meaning in their life. This results in a lot of deep feeling, a lot of introspection. As you can see from the picture here, they are very empathetic, artistic. They want to be understood, and they hate not feeling understood. They desire being authentic and being with people who are authentic, and they want deep personal connection with people. Because 4s are more introverted and quiet often, they can sometimes be overlooked as leaders, but they are invaluable in leadership. 4s excel in one-on-one communication. Not all communication should be in big groups. You need close personal connections. They also are extremely emotionally aware. They can read a room, and they can pick out when someone is hurting and they aren't saying anything. They are very empathetic. They can discern true motivation because they're so in tune with, is this person being fake with me or real with me? They're going to be the first people to pick out, is that person being genuinely nice, or is he trying to people please? And those sorts of things. 4s also have some stumbling blocks, so some red flags to watch out for. Are you, as a 4, idealizing people? Are you falling into wallowing and withdrawing and not really making anything out of what you're feeling, just kind of dwelling in it? Are you being consumed with envy, which can be a real struggle for the 4? And ultimately, like, how you deal with those kinds of things and how you grow is finding meaning in the feelings, not dwelling in them, but finding growth in it and meaning in it. Another great thing for a 4 is to be physically active. They can get so stuck in their heads, and it can be damaging for them, just kind of spiraling in their feelings. So getting outside, doing physically active things where you're not thinking as much, you're just kind of getting moving, can be really healthy for a 4. And finally, practicing gratitude, because 4s can get dwelling on the negative things. They miss the meaning and the value in the existence of the positive things. So practicing gratitude and focusing on what is positive in life is healing for the 4.
Hi, my name is Elise and I'm going to start off by talking about type 5. I'll give you some general characteristics and then the pros and cons of type 5 in a leadership position. So Enneagram type 5 is called the investigator. They are characterized by a desire to be capable and competent. Some adjectives that describe them are alert, insightful, curious, knowledgeable, brainy, stuff like that. They desire to understand the world, pursue knowledge, and test the knowledge that's out there already. They tend to be more introverted because they spend a lot of time in their brain just really thinking over new problems that come up and solutions that could work. They really love to find new ideas that are different and unique, and they just usually have a thing that they really focus on. So it might be like marine biology or climate change or something along those lines. And now we'll talk about the investigator in a leadership position. So ways 5s excel. They are not afraid to go into the unknown. They are going to explore these new things. They're really curious about things that they don't know about yet. If there's a new procedure or something in a company, they're going to be the first ones on it to study it, to learn more about it. So that goes into observant. They're very observant. They like to note the details, how something works. They want to know it inside out. Also, with type 5, they want to find unique solutions and ideas. They don't want to use the standard answer. They want to find something that's different, that's going to work better. So that'll help diversify ways of going into a certain issue or problem that a company or any other organization might have. So things 5s need to watch out for. Like I said, they tend to be more introverted. They spend a lot of time in their brain, so they tend to kind of isolate themselves socially. They really focus on knowledge and learning that knowledge, and that's just kind of their thing. So they tend to struggle with the social aspects of being a leader. Another thing that's kind of weird is they tend to avoid personal problems. So like I said on the slide before, they will have something that they fixate on. So I said one of them was like a marine biologist, really like studying sea life and whatever. They will focus on it so much that they will avoid their other problems. So say like this person is studying sea turtles or something, and there might be something going on at home. They're going to focus so much on those sea turtles, they just are going to completely zone out what's happening at home because they're so fixated on the project they're working on currently. Another thing is they tend to have a hard time with relaxing. They want to learn as much as they possibly can. So they're constantly working, constantly observing, looking at details that it's hard for them to relax. So those are a few things to watch out for, and also some positives of type 5 in a leadership position. Hello, so this is Elise up again, and I'm going to talk to you about type 6, and this is the type that I am. So, going to give you general characteristics and how they do in leadership as well. So, here we go. Enneagram type 6 is also known as the loyalist. They are characterized by a desire to be secure and safe. Some adjectives that describe them are reliable, hardworking, trustworthy, supportive. They have a desire to feel secure, have support from others, and have reassurance. They are the most loyal of all the types, and they hold their relationships really, really close to them. They tend to have a group of people that they go to for advice, for help with decisions. They really put their relationships on a pedestal. So now the loyalist in leadership. Ways 6s excel. They are troubleshooters. If there's a problem, they're going to solve it. I follow a lot of Instagram pages about the Enneagram, and since I'm a type 6, I look at like the little posts they have, and they're always talk about how type 6s are so prepared for any problem. They're there to find the solution. Also going along into that, they're very detail oriented. When a problem comes up, they're going to look at every single facet, every single possible scenario that could come out of this problem, and they're going to find a solution that's going to work best for that problem, and accounting in every other variable that could possibly happen with this problem. They're also extremely loyal. Like I said on the slide before, they hold their relationships very, very close to them. They are not ones to give up easily on a relationship or a company or something that they believe in. When they have a friendship or anything like that, or they work for a company, they are kind of like a ride or die kind of person in that situation. Even if it's totally tanking or things are not going well, they're going to be there. Things to watch out for. Type 6s tend to be kind of contradictory. They don't question their beliefs at all. Like I kind of said before, they stick to them. They hold true to it. But when it comes to authority, they tend to question the person just a little bit and see what their values are, if they're fit for the position as well. Type 6s are not the best at making decisions. On the previous slide, I talked about how they have like a group of people that they hold really close to them. those are the people that they trust, and they will tend to go to those people being like, if there's a decision that they have to come up with, they're going to be like, what do you think I should do? What do you think about this? They're going to give you all the pros and cons of the situation, and they're going to go to each person in their circle and get all the feedback that they need to. So they're kind of slow on making decisions and not the best at making them on their own. Type 6s also tend to overreact a little bit. They're very protective of their relationships and their beliefs, and if someone talks about a sensitive topic or steps on a nerve, they are going to tell you about it. And it might not be very nice or the best way to handle the situation. So, Enneagram Type 6, things to watch out for, but also ways that they excel as well.
My name is Cacie Lloyd, and I will be sharing Enneagrams Types 7 and 8 with you. Enneagram Type 7 is referred to as the enthusiast. According to the Enneagram Institute 2019, this type is characterized by their high energy and enthusiasm for life. 7s are oftentimes extroverted, although it is possible that introverts may be Type 7s as well. They tend to be optimistic and spontaneous people. In other words, they are open to many different ideas and opportunities. They are motivated by their desire to feel satisfied and content, as well as free, happy, excited, and included. Due to the fact that they want to feel included, they oftentimes experience FOMO, or fear of missing out on things. The first characteristic that Type 7s have that benefit them as leaders is that they are fairly quick learners. Our world is constantly changing, so it is important for leaders to be flexible and willing to learn and adjust to new things. This is especially beneficial when it comes to servant leadership, as Type 7s are able to quickly learn about those they are leading. As I mentioned in the previous slide, 7s are willing to try new things. Leadership is oftentimes trial and error. While failure can be difficult for some, Type 7s tend to move on, thinking of the next possible way to accomplish something. They are optimistic people, meaning that they tend to express positivity and hopefulness. They are also joyful and enthusiastic. Not only do these individuals provide a fun and light atmosphere for all, they are inspiring to others. People want to be like them. Some weaknesses that Type 7s have, and please remember that all of us have them, include the fact that they may have trouble making decisions for themselves. They are fast learners and are therefore good at a lot of things, so this can be difficult for them when deciding what would be best for them to do. It would be good for them to cut down and focus on what they are most gifted in or passionate about. Anxiety can result from their lack of ability to make decisions, as well as from that fear of missing out. If they are not included, this may result in them feeling unwanted. Lastly, burnout is possible with 7s. They tend to love everything and want to be involved in everything. It is awesome that they are so passionate about much, but there is a possibility that they may become burned out if they don't learn how to say no to things or how to take time for themselves. Next is Enneagram 8. Enneagram 8 is referred to as the challenger. According to the Enneagram Institute 2019, Type 8s are characterized by their willingness to take on challenges as well as to challenge others. They are confident in themselves, mentally strong, assertive, meaning that they stand up for what they believe in, and protective of themselves and those they care most about. They want to be important and in control. They are not afraid of confronting others or being confronted. As you can see in the picture, they are willing to take the heat for things. Enneagram 8 in leadership. As I mentioned in the previous slide, Type 8s are protective of those they care about. They are mentally strong people and are willing to do what it takes to make sure that people are well treated and respected. They are rather independent people, which helps them as leaders. Leaders must be willing to take time to reflect and gather their own ideas and thoughts before sharing them with those they are leading. They are determined people. No matter what kind of challenges they face, they are committed to persevering and accomplishing their goals. Their strength and commitment to both finishing a job and caring for others is inspiring. People want to be like them. Type 8s tend to be persuasive. They can usually grab the attention of the room. They do a good job of convincing others that their ideas are worth pursuing and people respect what they have to say. Some things to watch out for as 8s. Control. 8s want to be in control, so it can be rather difficult for them to know that someone has more power than they do. It is important to remember to remain respectful towards those in authority, as well as to remind themselves that they can learn valuable things from other people. Due to the fact that 8s tend to protect themselves, they may be less likely to be vulnerable when facing struggles in their lives. Leaders don't need to share every single personal detail of their lives, but it is important to remember that followers can better relate to leaders who have been through similar things they have. 8s want to be important, so if they are not wanted or needed for something, they can feel rejected. This is similar to the criticism. They may be willing to listen to feedback from others, but if they feel criticized or attacked, they may feel poorly about themselves or choose to ignore the feedback they have received.
The final Enneagram type we will cover is the type 9, the peacemaker. The peacemaker fears disconnection above anything else. They will resort to people-pleasing, to conflict avoidance, and bottling up their anger and not voicing their opinions or feelings in order to make everyone around them happy, even if those people's interests conflict with each other. And this is all so that they can stay connected with people. Because they are so afraid of conflict, they seek out people who are safe and accepting and more calm so that they can feel like they can be safe around them and be themselves around them. And they will avoid people who are harsh or blunt. The Enneagram 9 is invaluable as a leader because of their desire for their voice to be heard. When often they don't allow their voice to be heard, this makes them very good at hearing other people, often hearing other people who are overlooked, who aren't listened to. They are really great at seeing both sides of a conflict and understanding where both people are coming from because of their own desire for people to understand where they're coming from and for other people to hear them. They are very positive and they provide a lot of stability in their calm, even-keeled manner. And they are also very accepting. But as a 9, some red flags to watch out for is they can resort to a lot of people pleasing. They can often be sensitive to criticism, and they can hold themselves back in insecurity. Emotional repression is also huge. When 9s get really focused on trying to please everyone and make everyone else happy, they forget their own emotions. So it's really important as we move on into the tips for growth for 9s to take a lot of self-care, take time to be by themselves, to reflect on their feelings. It's also important for 9s to learn to be more assertive. And it's important for 9s to practice mindfulness. And that just means being aware of what you're feeling and how you're responding to things, not just focusing on how other people are going to respond to what's going on.
To conclude, I'm just going to talk over our presentation. So in our presentation, we discussed the 9 different types of Enneagrams, their major characteristics, and how this relates to leadership, both positively and negatively. Being aware of your Enneagram type and those around you is so important, as it reveals your core fears, your desires, how you react to stress, and how you grow. This is important for leadership, as it helps you to recognize your gifts, the gifts of others, have a better understanding of conflict, learn how to meet the needs of others better, identify warning signs for yourself and others, learn how to grow, and to understand yourself and those around you better. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation, and we hope you have a great rest of your freshman year. Thank you, guys.